Welcome back to the URM Academy YouTube channel where we help you kick ass at mixing. I'm Joey Sturgis. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and smash that bell button to get notified whenever we upload another great video for you. Today's video is all about giving you more options when it comes to mixing or replacing the kick. I show you some really cool methods to achieving accurate kick tracking, which opens up a lot of doors for making decisions with samples in the mix. Now this is just one segment of an entire 8-hour live mixing session you can learn from, available on Nail the Mix. Now for all you guys out there that absolutely hate drum editing and drum samples, just remember this is only one technique that achieves a certain type of sound, and knowing many different techniques allows you to become a better mixer in all types of scenarios. You never know when it might come in handy. Now there's a lot to cover here, so let's jump into the video. So the first step I would take to kind of prepping the song is I want to have all this stuff cut up. And in Cubase there's a lot of different ways to do it. And I know some people are wanting me to show a bunch of different ways to do it, so I'll do that. The way I like to start out doing it is duplicate the kick track and name it kick. And then take that audio, I'm going to right click, advanced, detect silence. I'm going to set my threshold to negative 14.5. I'm going to have the pre-roll at about 3 milliseconds and the post-roll at 0. And then this open and close time is how long each little piece of, each little slice of audio is going to be. I'm going to set it to about 64 milliseconds because it's really hard for a human to hit the kick drum twice in 64 milliseconds. It's basically impossible almost. So I know that if I set it to that number, it's not going to trip up. It'll, it won't double trigger. So hit compute and process, and now we have a bunch of little audio slices, and you'll see some of those quicker kick hits get grouped together. That's kind of a little annoying caveat that just happens with Cubase, and you just have to live with it. Now that's one way that you can do this, and then you can use those little audio slices to basically trigger things like Steven Slate trigger or Drumagog. Let me show you a different way. You could also double click that and open it in the sample editor. And in the sample editor there's a tool over here on the left called hit points. If we click this threshold bar, it's going to detect the hit points. Now as I raise and lower that threshold, it tries to determine which hit is an actual hit that you want to care about. And you can see how right here there's these sort of ghost hits, and as you increase the threshold it'll turn those into actual kick hits. Now obviously those are this is a tom fill if we play this little part. So those aren't kick hits, right? So we'd want the threshold stay above those little noises because those aren't kick hits, but we want it to be low enough that it catches most of the kick hits. So you can see I kind of did that. This is not a kick hit, for example, so you can actually go in and go to edit hit points, and if I hold the shift key it says disable hit point when I click on that, so I can disable that as a hit point. And you can actually go through the whole song, zoom in. You can move.
After you do this for a long time, you start to be able to look at the waveform and just know what kind of drum it is too, right?
Yeah.
You probably don't even have to think about this anymore because you've done it so much.
Right.
Yeah, so this is something where if you guys are wondering how he just knows, that's just a byproduct of having done this, spending your 10,000 hours basically getting great at this.
Yeah, and as I go along, I can tell where the computer is, because after you do this for a while, you start to learn the tendencies of the computer as well, and you start to know you can almost predict where it's going to make a mistake, right? As I scroll through the song here, I'll see. Let me see if I can find an example. So yeah, 2 kick hits together, it gets confused because they're so close to each other, and I can just tell I'm going to have to move that over. And that's something that you just kind of learn with time. And I can typically go through a song and do it pretty quickly just because I have a lot of experience doing this, done it so many times. But at first, when you start to do these kind of things, it seems like a lot of work. And I can tell you that when I started my career, I never realized how much work it really went into one song. I always looked at something like this going, is that really what people do? Like, do they really go through every single kick hit and set the hit points? And
I need to echo that, man. Like, for instance, just say I've worked with Black Dahlia Murder a few times, and we figured out how many average bass drum hits would be in a song, and it's something like 1,800 per song. And, you know, blast beats going the whole time, maybe not 1,800 snare hits. But people would ask us, so you guys sit there and line up every single one? And it's like, yeah, every single one. We'd lose a lot of interns and engineers because when they realized what it took to actually get it right, they didn't want to do it anymore. But yes, actually do every single hit and get it right. There's no way around it. You have to.
yeah, and I'm not going to continue with the, I went to bar 70 so far, which is like half the song or something, right? Yeah. So cool. But I'm not going to stick with this because I won't be using this later. But I just wanted to show you guys this technique. Now what you would do after this is you would go to right here where it says create MIDI notes. Just click that thing. Velocity mode, you could just go, since this is a kick track, we can just go fixed velocity, 127. We're going to set the pitch to C1 because that's normally what a kick is. You can even set the length of the hit, and we're going to set the length to a 30-second note just to keep it out of the way of all the other hits. And the destination is going to be a new MIDI track. Hit OK, close this, boom, MIDI track at the bottom, there's all our kick hits. And those are lined up with those hit point decisions that we made. I feel like in today's age, this is the reality of our lives. It shouldn't be. We should be mixing a beautifully recorded kick drum that has no mistakes and just sounds amazing, and we just EQ it and compress it, and it's nice. But the reality of it is that just never happens. You're going to get tracks where the kick sound is just stupid, and you have to make your own, or your name's going to look bad.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're a professional mixer and you're not always mixing what you recorded, you've got no choice sometimes. And also sometimes the people you're working with aren't going to be capable of giving you the sound you're looking for. And sometimes for artistic reasons, you've got to do what you got to do.